Yeah, first of all, best of luck to Coach Beck and Coastal. I know they got James Madison, I think, next week. That's a team that we have a lot of respect for, a coach that we have a lot of respect for. It's a good football team that had won 4 out of their last 5 games going into tonight. They were playing their best ball, had scored 40 points or more in 4 straight games. So we knew that would be tonight would be a challenge, but just really, really proud of our guys. Like that, this was not easy. And I know everybody just thinks you're playing a non-SEC team. You're just supposed to roll in there and win 51-7. It doesn't work that way, guys. This is college football, and especially the emotions of last week, the disappointment of last week, responding, and and people wondering how South Carolina's going to respond and how are they going to be motivated and how do they come back from last week. Well, we made a pretty strong statement tonight about what this place is about and the culture in this program, as I knew that we would. Going back to, I think it was, I said something about perception and reality earlier this week, and Hale asked me what I meant by that. And tonight was a great example of that, not just our team, but our fans and the way they showed up tonight. And for all the, disappointment of last week. We did that thing on social media last year about the people on Bush River Road that every single Friday at 5:55 p.m. when our buses roll by, they're always out there, those sweet ladies and the people that live on that street, and they're waving their Gamecock flags and they're cheering and clapping just to watch our buses go by for 10 seconds, if that. And sure as heck, they were there last night, just like we knew we would be. And then we showed up today for Gamecock Walk, and that thing was awesome with our fans. And I knew it would be. And then to walk out into Williams-Brice Stadium for another awesome environment, and how loud it was and the energy that our fans had in that stadium, it's another example of why this place is so special. It's another example of why we have the greatest fan base in America. So thanks to them, and that's what's real. When we talk about perception and reality, that's what's real. The greatest fan base in America and a really strong culture within our locker room right now, and you saw that. I want to thank the students that were here today in the cockpit because they didn't have to be. I know Thanksgiving break has started here, and they easily could have bolted out of town yesterday and headed home, and they didn't. They stayed out here tonight to watch us play Coastal, so we're so appreciative for them. And appreciate the troops. Salute the Troops Day. It was awesome seeing those guys across waving their towels during Sandstorm and having a great time. We're so thankful for them and all they do for our country. And God bless the men and women in our military. And I'm so thankful that we were able to honor them today. And just a great example of what this team is about. We've had heartbreak all season, but today was an opportunity to go out and put all that on display, our culture on display. And we did that. What a way to start the game. With the opening touchdown on the very first play. Love the way that our defense played throughout the night. The stops that they made on 4th down, the responses our guys always had. It was just a great team effort and really good in 2 phases. Extremely disappointing to get a freaking punt blocked. Makes me sick, but really good in 2 phases tonight with the way that we played. And a lot to build on as we continue to get better. It was so awesome to get young guys in there at the end. You saw how excited our entire team got at the end of the game when Bradley Dunn scored a touchdown, and then we also had Larry Scott and Chase McCracken in there lined up as receivers, 2 senior running backs that we wanted to get in the game. You saw how excited they got at the end of the game for so many of our young defensive guys that hadn't played football before, and DQs over there on the sideline trying to get me to call timeouts on defense on the last drive just to get like more guys in the game and save time so they could have more plays to play. I mean, that's what this team is about, and that's what these players are about. To see Ryan Brubaker going in there and get to play tonight, and not many of you know his story, but there was a serious question about whether Ryan Brubaker would ever play football again with his injury. And I can remember when we had spring break last March, Emily and I are driving down to Kiowa for my spring break because our kids didn't have spring break at the same time. And I had Brubaker's parents and Brew on speakerphone, and we're talking, and she's in tears hearing them talk because we didn't know what Brew's future was. And not only did he get to play football again, he played tonight. And we thought if he ever got to play football again, it might be sometime in 2026. So for him to come back and get out there tonight and see how excited our guys were for that, it was just Really awesome. Great to see so many former players back. When you got a great program, your former players want to return. Coach Spurrier used to say that. And to see Kevin Harris down there tonight on the sidelines, and Boogie to come back on his off week, and Bam Scott to be here on his off week, and Darius Rush to be here on his off week. When you got a special culture and great people in your program, players in the NFL, when they could go anywhere in the country for their off weekend, they wanted to come back here and be around this, which makes a strong statement. Again, proud of our guys. Happy to get a win. It's been a minute, and we certainly are going to enjoy the heck out of this one. And then we know what's coming next Saturday at noon, and will be an awesome environment. And got a big challenge against those guys, but we'll worry about them tomorrow and celebrate and really enjoy this one, because our kids, our players, they deserve it, and our fans that were in there in that stadium tonight, they deserve it.
It's been, I guess, the turning point that's gotten Jaden Sellers more involved in the offense this last half of the season.
Guy's just a player, man. He works, he competes, he's tough. He does things right, and he's great on the field, and he's great off the field. He does things the right way. And he's the same person every day. I think just his consistency and his work ethic, practice matters, and he's showing that, how he's improved in practice and has led to more opportunities for him on the field. As we've said all along, we really like that freshman group of receivers. They continue to work. It's been a work in progress. Early on, those freshman receivers were a group, and then some other guys kind of were that guy, and it's been back and forth in a lot of ways. But practice matters, and I'm sure you guys get tired of me saying that, but it really does. We started Jared Brown tonight. He hadn't been playing much, and it wasn't just because we were playing Coastal. He had a great week of practice, and Jared started, and Jaden had a great week of practice, and Murph continues to really work and do some good things. So practice matters. How you handle yourself off the field matters, and those are good young players. And it's a lot of them. We got Jordan Gidron in the game tonight, and Lex Cyrus is a young guy that's redshirt and that's going to be a good player. So that freshman receiver crew that we brought in was highly recruited and decorated for a reason, and you're seeing guys flash at different times, and that whole group is going to be good. And it was nice to see them step up tonight and do what they did, and allow, how about Lenore's 16 of 20 for, 274. And then those receivers that all made an impact out there tonight. It was really cool to see. I can't express how hurt and devastated that locker room was last Saturday. I mean, that was really hard. And how quiet that plane ride was back from College Station on Saturday night. I mean, that was a really hard day and a really emotional day. So I knew how much they hurt, but, I maybe have told you guys, but I say it all the time. I told the TV crew yesterday, we always practice after I get off the teleconference with you guys on Sunday. We always go out on the practice field. I did say this, I think. And we, is it the greatest practice ever when we go out there and start? Probably not. But then at the end, we always do, like the young guys that y'all saw out there tonight at the end of the game. We put them in for about a 15 or 20 play, basically just scrimmage, and that's like a switch that flips. And that's kind of when the emotions get going. It's energetic, it's competitive, it's intense, it's physical, to the point where last Sunday night I had to pull a couple of guys aside and be like, look, man, we're not trying to get our teammates hurt on Sunday night, but it was spirited, and the guys were into it. And on the final play of the scrimmage, Jimmy Francis, our young quarterback, threw a deep touchdown pass to a receiver, and the whole offense ran 80 yards down there, and it was like a celebration in the end zone, like we had just won the Super Bowl. And I walked off the field saying, all right, we're going to be okay. And I feel that way every Sunday when we come off the practice field. And if we didn't, I'd be concerned, but you know how they're going to respond. And then the way we practice this week, still though, but you're worried because Coastal's got a good football team that can score points, and they do enough on special teams, as we saw with the freaking block punt, to create some problems. And they try to throw a double pass on us. They do things like that where they can junk it up enough and score some points where all of a sudden you're in a dogfight. And it wasn't lost on me, Pete. We were in a dogfight with Old Dominion last year, same conference. We were in a dogfight with Georgia State back in 2022. We blocked 2 punts for touchdowns, thankfully, that night. But Jacksonville State, we've had some games in the last 3-4 years that we didn't always go out and dominate like we did tonight. And that's what excites me, is the way that our guys went out there and dominated tonight. Yeah, it was awesome. He had been out at practice a little bit more this week, actually on the field, where he was able to stand. And then I guess it was Thursday or Friday, George Wynn, our director of operations, he came in my office and said something about, do you realize that, hey, Travian's planning on being at the game on Saturday and in the box? And I'm like, no, I didn't. Has he been cleared medically to do that? And he had been, and he wanted to be there. So it was really cool. You talk about, I mean, it's been an emotional year, guys. Y'all, let's be real. Whether it be from, the heartbreaking losses to your defensive line coach is in a car crash and almost dies in August, to we've had some coaches that have lost family members recently. And we had a coach that lost his dad during the Ole Miss game. So, I mean, it's been an emotional year in a lot of ways. So to be able to see Travian be back out there tonight, be at the hotel with us for pregame meal today, go through Gamecock Walk, and then be on the headphones tonight, and then in the locker room after the game celebrating was pretty cool. We've missed him because our defense pitched a shutout tonight, so clearly wish he'd been here before now.